recording here. I'm going to kick it off here anyway, because we use it internal for auditing, and we also have a mastermind group that we can leverage with. But really, this is all about you here today. We're going to give you some great, juicy content that you can use and leverage for your business, specifically around links, and that is obviously tied to SEO, as all of you know. But yeah, we we really enjoy the SEO world over here, but it is somewhat complex, and I just want to make sure that you kind of take a peer into this world, see how we look at these things, what we do, and also you know, how we think about these things. And so if that's cool by you, then yeah, we'll just rock it out. We'll rock it out. Okay, just a quick shout out to a few people here, some friends in the network as well. Ake Hedman, I think that's Swedish maybe. Anne, how you doing? Dave, Jeff, Jeannie, hello. Jen, we've spoken before. Great, actually via email at least, and thank you for attending. Joanne, hey, happy to have you. Joanne just joined as well in our client base, so it's cool. We got Mark on here. Hey, Mark. Michael, Mutsumi. You got Pia Thyssen. That's French or Scandinavian, or yeah, it's got to be French. But I'm just bastardizing names. I need to stop now before I get too deep. And oh yeah, okay, it's Swedish. Hey, jag Sverige. I'm from Norway, so that's how it plays. That's how it rolls over here in good old Los Angeles today. And this is the hashtag SEO Webinar Friday. We're doing these on Fridays. Feel free to share this and any feedback out there. We're building this out, so that's actually a brand new thing. But this is me without the fantastic and the Indiana Jones gear, and we're gonna really get a little bit more serious here, but not a lot, just enough to kind of get you thinking about this in the right way. And of course, we need to discuss a little bit about me here, just so you have a reference point. But if you are not familiar with me, then here's a couple of references for you. That's my new book right there, the Optimizing Your Website book from Entrepreneur Magazine, Entrepreneur Publishing rather, and also some notes here from some powerful media outlets at Huffington Post and Entrepreneur. And yes, my name is Jon Rognerud. That's pronounced Jan Rognerud, and I've been doing this in an agency format since 2007, but I started with my first ridiculous HTML page back in early 1996, and it's been a while. But really, I came from a technology background, which is helpful, but it turns out that technology is so much easier than marketing and psychology, which this is so much about. How do you position your message in front of the right audience, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what we're all trying to do here. So appreciate it, guys and gals, boys and girls. We're going to kick it off here. But as you know, I like to create a little bit of inspiration here on each of these webinars to get you cranking. We are going to crank, and we are going to get you to take action. And we want you to, you know, think of, you know, hey, that was me in the past, man. All this baby stuff. Yeah, no, we're gonna level up here, and so that's what we're gonna do in this my 60 minutes of change, because we are spending about 60 minutes here, although I am probably presenting for about 40 to 45, and then questions as you may, and of course questions may come in directly through chat. Feel free also to supply it via the email, which you'll get in a little bit here. And the agenda, what we'll cover for those of you who came in through the, some of you came in directly through a link actually, and some came through a specific landing page. Well, we're going to cover these three things, and the case study here is how I ranked first page for a $4,000 term. That's the value. How to get high authority links for faster dominance, and dominance as in dominating Google. And what is domain authority stacking? You may have even seen a short video I put out there. Want to make sure that you understand how to actually use all this stuff. And fair warning, there's a lot of information in here today, but I'm going to give you what I typically do is kind of a overview. Then I give you all the let me just say, outside of the details, I really right, outside of the top level items, I dive into some detail, and then from that, we're going to extract out some strategies for you, and towards the end, I'll share with you actually some solutions that you might be interested in. And again, this is about content. This is not a you've probably been on webinars where it's just all about tiny little video content and then a pitch. That's not the case here. So hopefully that works for you, and we'll dive in. And as I said, I like to inspire and drive you, and this can be a frustrating field as well as super exciting. But I should give you a fair warning that this whole link building thing, right? That's the technical term. It's going to not work for you if you don't have these things, you know. And it's sort of like I tell my daughter is, hey, if you eat French fries, you're going to not get thin, right? It's a nice way of putting it. And the answer is, yeah, I know that. And the same thing here, right? You will fail if you don't have quality products, you don't have quality service, assets, and content, no clear USP, your sales positioning, right? The audience, are you targeted, and are you getting engagement with them and your clients? The no time, no money, obviously. But if you don't have any of this, and if you don't think about this, it's going to be a very long, hard road, because, frankly, getting a cool tool or the next shiny object are not going to be the way to go. That is not the way to go. Notice how I repeated that? But I know you're feeling on this. It's very easy to get sucked into, this package of, X dollars for a million links and, directories and articles and submissions. It's going to just work wonderfully for you, because we know that links are so central to the ranking mechanisms in search engines, certainly Google. And then finally, number 8, I probably should have just kind of bulleted that out separately, but this gets, and again, not trying to get into this sort of airy-fairy weird stuff on this sort of very SEO-centric webinar here today, but I have to mention it because I come across this quite often too, and we all get stuck in this. Hey, I have tried that. That doesn't work for me. My business is different. Yeah, I have tried that, but it doesn't seem to work, and it's an attitudinal problem. It's no marketing really actually truly fails. It's probably the case that you may not have had the right strategy, yes, but the plan wasn't followed up properly, and you stopped too soon. Right? And I want you to think about that, because really the time management, the team that you are working with, and that could be a one, meaning yourself, or a staff, right? And then hustle, I put up here, equals dollars. We don't want to be on the left side. Again, no Tony Robbins seminar presentation here today, but I just want you to think about this, because there's so much cool stuff going on in this marketing world right now, digital marketing. But you might get stuck on the left side there, definitely not boredom, depression. I'm not telling you that, but, the idea that you're just on the left side and you stay in this learning mode and you don't get over the hump and you don't move into performance. There's a lot of learning going on. That's great. Need to take action, though. Need to kind of push yourself and suspend disbelief is an expression, right? I'm just gonna try this, give it a fair shake. I know the strategy is sound, so I'm just going to build it out, and I'm going to work with partners, friends, staff, to make it happen. And definitely don't want to do that on the right side, right? Get into anxiety mode and complete meltdown. So, and I'm sharing this because there is a lot of information here today, but I want you to, I'll help you extract the right pieces for you, and I know I have a diverse base here today, but make sure that you think about this and don't get caught in your old sort of self-demolition, if I can use that term, because that will and can happen. And man, I'll tell you some horror stories when we sit over a beer sometime in the future. But let me now get back to this. And you remember this from the last webinar. This is really the stack that we talk about in SEO and really search marketing overall. The idea that you can build these stacks up. We talked about keyword themes and content last time from the 213 webinar. Today, though, we're going to cover that item in red right there, and that is the link building aspects in online PR. Gives you kind of a contextual relevance, to what we're doing here today. So again, around the link building. And I'm excited to share this first, and that's both from an egotistical standpoint, because it's all about me here, how I did this, but also how relevant this is to you and what you can do to mirror this. And I'm going to really, this is the first time I've shown this, so you are indeed a priority for this, and let's just dig right in. But first, dear Google, is this true? This was actually a few days ago up on Search Engine Land, where John Mueller out of Germany or Switzerland office had said that, and by the way, he's a spokesman for Google, and especially for the tech community, saying that you want to just avoid the links, because that's just not working, right? Really, really, that's obviously not right. Out of context, maybe a language barrier, whatever. But links for SEO is super central, always have been and will be, and that's the nature of it. The folks who developed Google in the beginning, back in 1998, Page and Brin, said that based on relevancy from links and popularity and relevancy, we're going to be able to rank pages better than just simply putting content and keywords and text on those pages. And that is still true today. In fact, as I break down this case study for you, talked about content there, absolutely central, no doubt about it. This study from SERP shows that longer posts tend to win, right? So if I don't know the exact extraction of numbers and case studies, but they'd pulled out essentially the first top 10 results from Google and said, hey, just looking at pure content here and content length, what is it that wins, more than not, right? Well, here we can see it. Clear winners at the top, 2,000 plus, 2,500 almost there. So when you think about building out content, it's not just slapping some keywords on there and a couple of links. It's all of the meat and potatoes here. It's certainly making sure that you have the right content, but also that you have the correct content length, right? And now these are guidelines, right? People freak out sometimes and say, well, Jan said that you need to have long content, so now we're just going to have all pages with tons of content. If it's not user-friendly, if the user experience is poor, that's not helpful. In fact, SEO, some have termed this search experience optimization. It's that whole user experience, so important. And in fact, we know that Google looks at engagement and how sticky your page is, if they hit the back button too fast, etc. Not useful. But here, very, very cool. And in the test that you're going to see here, this case study, I did exactly this. I started leveraging a lot more content. So here's an example from, well, this is the case study I'm sharing with you, where I basically created the page. I added the content, and you'll see it here in a second. And then I added a authority boost on the 13th of February, which was last Friday, actually. And I'll share more details of that in a second, but I added that on that date. And as you can see here, the blue over on the right, it's a 4th, 10th position in Google. I was hovering in the sort of the orange. There was an orange, then brown, and this gives you a graphical depiction of where that one keyword was sitting in Google over this period of time, and then it popped just a few days later. And the way that I did this with one link is from the Huffington Post. And I'm going to stop you here. You may be thinking, well, I don't have a Huffington Post outlet. I don't have a hook in here. Hey, Jan, can you hook me up? Well, I'll show you how this works, right? But here's the how to rank higher on Google in 2015 on the tech first page on Huffington Post. That's what took this and basically cranked it up to the first page. See the power of this? Instead of all these ridiculous multi-prong approaches to link building, one link put it over the top. See, remember that? 13th, boom. A few days later, straight to the first page, and I think it's now around 8th. And so basically this is a $4,000 term. That's number 8 here for Los Angeles SEO expert. And that is not only valuable, but it's extremely brandable, meaning it's well positioned. Somebody who is in the business of social media or SEO and training and consulting, they would be listed on the first page, hopefully, right? But it also helps to show this from a pure sort of operational context. The logistics of this is very strong. right? So this is not about, well, if I'm on position 8 or 5, I'm not getting enough traffic. Yes, that's part of the mix, but it's also the discussion of positioning for your brand, and that you don't just have one term, but that you have 10, 20, hundreds of terms, of course, for larger, and thousands of terms for extremely large sites. So very, very, very powerful here, clearly. And here's how I did it. It was a schedule about 30 days, and starting on the left there, to see that around the mid to late January there, a green bar, started to add that content in the page, and then launched a press release and added some additional content over to about the end of January there. And then sort of just babysitting that, slowly tweaking content, adding some social signals out there by spreading the word, etc. And then the second bar on the right, the green rather, that was the 13th of February. That was a Huffington Post right there, and some social signals associated with that. I also ran some Facebook ads, etc., but that's not directly impacted, but indirectly. And moved to number 8, right, first page. And the post is actually 2538, 2,538 words. And this is a formula that I'm using for this example, but this is in fact what we do for clients. This is also what works, right? This is not a weird, funny formula or sort of a metric that's put together for a strange keyword or something that somebody could rank for very easily by just cranking up some content and adding some title tags and optimizing their page. This is very real, obviously, and active right now. And I'll show you how you can do these things. So again, we're going to make these slides available because there's a lot of content here today, and I know you love taking notes, but we're not going to be able to go through all of these. In fact, at the end of the webinar, there's going to be a exit form as the webinar closes. If you could take a look at that and specify what you'd like to see in the future webinar, that's been really helpful. I've been receiving those, and we changed that to customize it to your audience. In fact, a number of you had asked about the next webinar, as you'll see here in a little bit. We'd like to tailor this to you. So one of the questions will be around this is, can you tell me more about how to optimize these in tactical terms, not just strategic, right? So when I say things like number 1 here, the keyword in the title, did I put the keyword in the title of the page? Yes, I did. Did I get it in the URL? Yes, I did. Did I put that in the description tag? Yes, I believe I did, right? It's a very specific keyword focus. It's great content value. Yes, I did do that. Focused on the user experience and focus, although or the layout, so it's readable, right? It's not just pure text, but I frankly could have done a better job there, and I'm going back to tweak it. Did I use the H1 tags? It's an HTML syntax for how to kind of break up and position headers and subheads. Yes, I did that. Is it a big one? It certainly is. Well, it's big, but there's bigger ones. This is not about who has the biggest, right? Although it is in the context of search engines that you don't try and fight against, your world, where most of the competitors have 1,000+ words and you have a 50-word post, right? So keep those in relationship to each other. Page speed, yes, focused on that, but actually could do a better job there. Duplicate content, definitely no duplicate content, right? So you think about those, yeah, I can do those. That's what you're saying, right? Now, give me a 2 if you can punch in on your keyboard there. Love to do this so I can get some engagement back. Does this make sense? Give me a 2 if this makes sense. I mean, I know there's questions about this and how to do it, but kind of just give me a 2 if this makes sense. Great. Yeah, 2 is the word. 2 is the word, and guess what? We're going to do more of this, too. Thank you. You guys are just the rock stars out there. Thank you so much. So here's some technical aspects. Again, the intention is not to go through all of this. As I said a few minutes ago, give you a little bit of a teaser of our world so that you can see elements that pique your interest, things you've heard about, things you need to know more about, things you can specify on the exit survey that you get at the end of the webinar. But rel canonical, yes, did that. Image optimization, yeah, pretty well. Keyword prominence, proximity, Yes, and that's the whole idea, that you actually start out your post with the keyword or keywords that you're trying to focus on early in the post rather than later, and that you have proximity between those words. Not going to even cover LSI because it's very technical, but it deals with the relationship between words. Authority outbound linking, yes. Many people don't like to do this, meaning, hey, it's my post, I'm going to link to myself, and hey, here's another page on my website, and contact us here, and buy, right? Well, linking out, very, very valuable. It shows you as the trusted source. In fact, I link out to authority sites on that post, but I also link out to my competitors, and that's number 6. I talk about helpful resources. I'm linking to a whole bunch of SEOs around the globe, actually, and in other states, because frankly, I'll send them some love, but I'm not afraid to be doing that because I am seen as an authority, right? And Google recognizes that too. It's a natural kind of thing, right? Multimedia, video, did that, images, slides, etc. Didn't do slides on this one, but video, the secret to search engine optimization is in there. Domain authority versus page authority. I'll talk more about that in the domain authority stacking, but did all of that, definitely did the sitemap, and lots of quality pages to support overall trust, right? So we have a lot of pages on the domain. So if you're starting a brand new domain and you have one page and you're trying to do this, it's going to be a longer road for you than if you have a site already established. Now, there's ways to speed this up and buying expired domains and things like that, but that's a whole course by itself, so we're going to skip that here. And yes, they came in questions about rel canonical. It really deals with the fact that you can tell the search engine specifically what the domain relevancy is. You can search for it in Google, certainly, but I'll explain it more in a follow-up webinar here. It's kind of technical. It just basically means that you're trying to avoid duplicate content issues, and you're telling the search engines, this page, page X, is the one that I want to be seen in the search engines for this URL. Terms of service, these things are often skipped. You'll see them in the footer, but often you don't. Terms of service, privacy policy page, trust indicators for Google. And by the way, adding, if you look at your site and, oh my gosh, I don't even have that, let me just go ahead and do that. Yes, as an aggregate value indicator, that's fantastic, but that's not going to change your ranking overnight, right? But it is something that you definitely want to see on paid search, right? And that paid search, meaning Google AdWords, and Facebook also now is coming after this. Make sure you have user-friendly navigation. That is not just the navigation itself, which is, footer, topper, right hand, but also internally. Quality number of root domains, refers, meaning do you already have a domain that's already established and you have links to it? Well, that's great. The quality over quantity is preferred there. And again, kind of going through a quick checklist here, because you might be asking, what is number 4 exactly, and can you give me an example of how I acquire that? And really, ultimately, it's all about that trust building again, right? We want to make sure that you get quality links back into both your root domain, but also your sub pages. Newbie SEOs and certainly business owners who get links and understand the importance of it tend to simply think of this as, oh yeah, I'm going to get links, and Jan said it, root domains are great. I'm just going to always get to the root domain. Well, remember the hierarchy of a website where the root is at the top, the home page typically, right? Then it branches out. Well, you want to spread the love, the link juice, if you will, into the system, into your website, not just the root. But having a strong root domain refer strategy is definitely important. So number 4 is just that, and the authority of incoming links, right? So if you're in the publishing business and you have a bunch of trashy links in neighborhoods coming in from adult porn and PPC, what is it? Pills, porn, and casinos. That's not a great strategy. 6, improve the stay dwell time. Google spending a lot more time on this and watching this. If somebody seems to come in from an authority, if they seem to come in from a great keyword, but they are leaving your site immediately, this is like a lack of dwelling, right? They disappear quickly. Engagement is what this fancy word is for that. You want to make sure that you improve that so they stay and work within your site. More and more important. Again, back to sort of that user experience and engagement I talked about a few minutes ago. Of course, here 7 should be an obvious one, but you'd be surprised what we come across here. Cheap hosting, slow servers. They might be in a bad IP neighborhood, etc. Not good. So we made sure that that's not happening. And also here, this idea that I need to get links and then go out and hire somebody to just get a slew of links in one go and spike it. Well, that is a clear indicator of spam, and the velocity of those links and the spikes will just not help you and can actually seriously hurt you. So again, if you look at this, that's a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, I do this and have been doing this for a while, so I kind of just have this all in my head and I just go through it. And by the way, there's some tools to help you with this as well, like for instance that rel canonical I have a question about. WordPress and the right plugins will take care of that for you, so you don't have to even worry about it, right? And page speed, we talked a little bit about that, but here's an interesting metric from Web Performance today. Walmart did this study, and again, this is Walmart. This may not be you, but it's still very relevant. When load times jump from 1 second to 4 seconds, conversions decline sharply. And it's very interesting to note, but it's so key, right? You can think for yourself when you're cruising the internet, hey, that page is not coming up, I'm out of here. Even if it's supposed to be some value to you, you know that you have the chance to go somewhere else to get that information, so you bail. Well, here on the left side, we got gtmetrics.com, which we really like actually, to check performance for your website. We got Google themselves with a bunch of tools, tools.pingdom.com, and Smush.it, smush.it. That's a service as well as a WordPress plugin. If you're using WordPress, that will automatically scrunch up. Is that a term even? Your images to make this happen for you. And again, when you run these tools, especially if you're kind of technical, it's easy to get way sort of into this analysis of this and get stuck here. You will see the outliers very quickly. And man, we've seen websites where you have 1 meg JPEG or something because they or a PNG because they forgot to optimize or didn't realize that it had such an impact. But it certainly does. And these studies, and there's many of them, prove that to be very true, and we know it. Wow. So give me a 3 here, boys and girls, if you're with me, and if this is making sense so far. I know, again, a lot of information here, because pieces of information is useful, but when it forms a strategy is when it really starts. Hey, there you go. Thank you so much, 3. You guys are breathing with me here. In fact, let me take a quick sip of this fine little water here. And this is rocks and sea and salt and sunshine and blue skies. That's where we really all want to be. But man, I thank you. I got some great feedback here from you all. Thank you so much. All right, so let's do this then. Now we talked about that case study. How do we get these, right? And this is a big one because it is a profound, impactful opportunity for you and your business. And again, we like to share information so that you can sort of see how we think about this, but we need to talk about how we help you with this in terms of a strategy. However, there are really 3 starting points on the left in yellow there. I don't know why we didn't actually number those, but it's 1, 2, 3. Your unique distinction, your differentiation, that USP, remember we talked about that at the top. The inventory of all your digital assets, and that is PDFs and PowerPoints and documents and anything you have internally stored in your database or on your server. If you're in the legal industry, of course, a lot of documents, but that doesn't mean it's all, available or ready for prime time, right? Number 3, distribution and partners. What can you leverage in your network? Huge here, and that includes your email list. And even email lists that I don't recommend this as a first strategy, but you can buy and purchase things from like places like Info USA, etc. But that's a strategy by itself. But determining what is my unique difference in my business and my products and my services, and why, why am I doing all this stuff, and how can I make that happen for my audience? How can I provide value to the audience? And over on the right there, that's where I put the 1, 2, 3 are really the areas in which you can leverage both creating media for yourself and earn those links. you can build it via outreach, which we can actually talk about today, how you do that, and bought. And bought is really just paid, right? Earned is discussed a lot in this time and age because, frankly, earned is simpler and it creates more equity and trust, in a sort of an evergreen fashion, I should say. I'm not trying to take away from number two, but earned is a strong opportunity for you, especially if you have industry expertise and background that provides value. People are going to share, people are going to link to you. It's more of this natural attraction that people want, right? The building and the outreach is a little bit the, hey, I'd like my digital handshake with you, but I'm going to force it a bit, right? I'm going to reach out to you and say, I got something great over here. I think your audience would like it. What do you think? And that includes things like guest blogging, right? That's been slammed a lot in the media, but there's a sound strategy there. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And, of course, bought. We're not going to cover that too much today, but you can do it. And then, of course, you have the whole social media world where you can place content and position content in terms of a platform. And you need to do your research here because you may find that Facebook is a great place for you to begin. But if you're in the photography business, so I know we had a couple actually signed up, wedding photography, etc. Pinterest is going to have to be in place. And what are you doing in that area, right? Content itself, what types of content you can push out there. Everybody should have a blog by now. It's just, it's like people who didn't have a fax machine back in the day. It's like you got to have it. Different ways in which you can present the information. We're on the webinar today, but you have videos and infographics. You have different presentations like slide shares and PowerPoints, free downloads, white papers, guides. You have press release, all this stuff. But frankly, all of this stuff on the right will not make sense unless you have that unique distinction in the USP position for yourself. So what is the difference that you're providing? And by the way, this is not the traditional platitudes that we see a lot, which is, hey, we've been in business since 1948, and we're really great over here, and we have great customer service, and our folks tell us we're awesome. That is not a USP, because I would expect that, right? It's sort of like, yes, and what else, right? So there's some thinking. If you want a checklist for the USP, we have one that we use, and hopefully that'll help you. Just ask for it there, and we'll send it to you. Gives you really a checklist format. Wow, what is really my difference? And often I ask them, well, what are you not? And that sort of puts it on the kind of spins it upside down, or whatever the term is, on its head. Is what I'm trying to say. Well, I know I'm definitely not this, and this. Well, it starts kind of filtering it out from the back end, right? The inventory, definitely want to make sure that you're clear on that, and that all inventory is good, right? People sit on massive amounts of inventory. You can get an intern or somebody here to help you and kind of start going through it and use it on the objective of what you want to do, the why there, right? Why are we doing this? And again, a content marketing plan, an editorial calendar, building this out. We're not going to cover all of that today, but you need to have it in place. And it can start simple here. In fact, I'm going to show you here in a second how you do it. But, making this simple is key. We don't want to overwhelm here. This is where people get very excited on maybe a conference or a seminar or a webinar like this, and then end up doing very little to nothing, which is not good, right? So just kind of keep this in mind. And yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. How do we do it? How do we get it done? And from the research, you pick one strategy, one approach, and then you run it and track it. So one approach may be, hey, I'm going to get my blog going. I'm going to post every Thursday, because on Thursdays is, in my industry, I've discovered that it's X, Y, and Z, right? Or I'm just going to post twice a week, and I'm going to have some help just doing some research, and I'm just going to bang out a 600-word post myself, right? And again, we designate different type of posts here. It could be a news sort of a curation type of post, and it might be a Friday summary for the week. And then Tuesday would be the Tech Tuesday, or the sort of Update Tuesday from the industry or from the firm specifically, and then track it and run it for 30 to 60 days, right? And again, these days here are relative. but you should not run it for a week or two and, hey, traffic's not moving, my search is not happening, so I'm just going to close this down, right? Not a great strategy. That's short-minded, and you kind of didn't even reach the top of that bell curve that I showed you here about 20 minutes ago. So, outreach for authority. We're going to talk about outreach. We're going to talk about Pitchbox, BuzzStream, Help a Reporter Out, which is Hero, Twitter, audience search, Blog-Brand Mentions. Brand Mentions is actually cool. That's a new service by Blog-. We haven't tried this yet, but it speaks volumes to what I'm talking about in terms of getting mentions on these top high authority outlets, right, for increasing the trust and authority, and then get the social sharing. I actually don't know how much this even costs, but it's from Blog-, and I have a contact there if you want to take a look. But really, I'm going to cover Pitchbox a little bit more today because it's one that we use. It's one that you can use, and it is really fantastic. We love BuzzStream too, actually all of these, but Pitchbox is the one that we're going to focus on. And here's a couple of screenshots from internally at Pitchbox, and you can get it's pitchbox.com, and you can get a free trial there. Just a little sippy cup here, sippy water. So that's Pitchbox, and it gives you a really nice trail of all activity. So this is you reaching out to the community based on your content that you have available or the idea that you can write for a particular blog or a particular outlet. And you can see things like, page rank. You can see that the tweets that they have, the Facebook engagement, LinkedIn, G+, Google+, right? Here on the right-hand side, you can see we're reaching out in the work process here for business to community, and it basically the system Pitchbox scans all this stuff for you. You don't have to do any of this. Pulls it all back, pulls back the emails. Even has default templates you can use, which are really too easy and makes a lot of sense. Show you how to kind of write this stuff. One thing is, how do I find my target audience and people who'd be interested in my content? How do I determine that it is of quality? How do I get their emails? How do I set this up so that it has a nice sort of pipeline, non-spammy, friendly, helpful flow to it? Pitchbox has come a long way. I looked at it very early on. Didn't seem as perfect or as brilliant as it is now, for sure. But also BuzzStream is a viable contender in this area. So these are the things we do, and again, not a demo for Pitchbox other than to share that tool with you, and you can start with a trial to see if it works for your firm. So here's some additional promotional strategies. Remember, we're talking about how you can do this yourself and how you can get these links. Feed.ly, Feedly. This is where you can add your research, add your blogs, all of this stuff that you can review daily if you want to, or weekly, and it gets sent to you, and it's really RSS feeds that gets pulled in. Same with scoop.it, which is fantastic. You can even submit your own there as you start to build it up, right? Schedule all this as you start to promote out in the social realm with hootsuite.com. ContentGems.com is an awesome one, kind of similar to Feedly, but really like Content Gems, simply for the diversity and the filtering capabilities that it has, and also the very nice layouts and their simple emails that come to you. So, one of the questions we get is, hey, I'd like to do this, but how do I create all the content? Where do I build this? I'm not sure quite what to write. I don't want to just write from my experience, not knowing if it's going to hit home. Well, do your research here. You don't want to just start day one. You want to do research, as I mentioned. Here's a couple of other ones. GetPocket, Flipboard, Twitter itself, I mentioned that. YouTube, if you are in the sort of media business, it makes sense that you place the content on YouTube. But even if say you're in the law firm, right, or you're in real estate, real estate a little more natural perhaps to show properties, etc., is to create some positions in YouTube to try and leverage the authority domain that it has and get listed in the first page of Google. This is very cool. Tools to use that. Some of these are free, actually. I think these are trials, but Animoto.com and Magisto.com, very, very easy to do, and then you can upload them to YouTube, add the title, descriptions, and depending on the market, depending on the levels of competitiveness, etc., you can get listed within hours for that kind of stuff. Very powerful, right? Just retweet. You build credit. It's a little more in-depth tool. but it allows you to actually see the activity and also build credits so that you can get all this stuff done for free. All right, so give me a 1 again if this all makes sense. Will you hit me with a 1, please? Yeah, 1. Yeah, 1. I love it. Love it. Yeah, keep it going, right? Okay, cool. All right, and by the way, here's an advanced strategy. This is advanced as in easy to execute, but it's happening right now. And here's the post, the SEO expert post. Notice how I have a free webinar icon over there. I have a download SEO cheat sheet, etc. That's on the myname.com, right? Well, creating a killer post, which I mean is really helpful to your audience. Running a Facebook post boost to that blog post or to that article, and have these call to actions that then lead to a landing page, which could be like a webinar, right? You're going to get a relevancy score of like a 9 or a 10 from Facebook, and you're going to get clicks from Facebook from a super hyper targeted audience for, I think we were seeing 10 or 12 cents a click, right? And that click thing is happening on the front end. If you're not converting to business, a 10-cent click will add up after a while. But it's exactly what Facebook wants to see, right? Instead of thin affiliate pages that just promote products, it's a solid piece. And we tested this actually with both this and also Huffington, and it works great. And so you don't have to spend heaps of money to just run some tests on this to validate it for yourself. Don't believe me, right? Just test it. But it's fantastic. And then look at the top page in analytics. One of the things that I talked about is that content inventory. Well, you should look at that and definitely review it, but you might just want to take a peek at, well, what kind of pages are happening for me right now on my website? Well, I have found that there's 5 pages that are getting some traffic. There's some of those pages that are on page 2, etc. Use the strategies then to create more content on that page, drive it through your promotional strategies, and then build that back up, So really cool. And I put down here on the left here, this also comes up. I don't know quite what to write about. What are some of the questions people are asking? Well, Quora.com, Answers.com, some of those answer engines can be great. And then make sure that you push all this content out to multiple places, slideshare.net, Scribd, etc. So again, very, very cool in terms of the promotional strategies that you can use. But let's say you do all this or do one of these select pieces, and you're starting to see some traction in terms of engagement, but you don't seem to move in Google. Nothing's happening. Well, maybe you're stuck in Penguin hell, right? Penguin was one of those updates that Google pushed out a while ago that deals with negative SEO or bad links, really. You may have had some linking problems in the past. Spoke to a company that had some SEO done back in 08, 09, 2010. Actually, 4 or 5 years later, still out there dragging it down. They didn't really know it. They had, over-optimized anchor text, and again, getting a little technical here, but, they were really trying to spam Google, right? And that history sticks. It sits there. Well, there's a whole world in the SEO sort of consulting business that has popped up about, toxic links removal, right? Well, guess what? With Pitchbox, you can take care of all of this. And again, I think that's a $200 or $300 a month thing to do with Pitchbox and hiring somebody to babysit it and all that. But you can get this all cleared up so that you don't have bad history. And if you're clearing up 80% of it, you're well on your way if you determine that you do have this filter applied, right? And hopefully you don't have a notice from Google either, because you definitely need to clear this up. But then you'll start to actually see some traction, because a lot of folks are working on the website, new graphics, new layouts, new fonting, videos, you name it. It's not really moving. In fact, some pages are even dropping down. It's getting worse. So, that's cool. Now, Pitchbox is a full feature, does everything for you. As I mentioned, BuzzStream is not lower end in terms of quality. You can do a lot, but there I think it's maybe 30 to to $40 a month, you know, so it's a different engine, but they do fantastic work, and I know the guys over there, they're awesome. So we just like this full-featured service. So we're jamming right along here, and wow, it's been 45 minutes, and man, you're still with me here, most of y'all. That's so awesome. Well, I'm glad it's hitting home then. Domain stacking, it's authority stacking, right? We talked about that at the top. We want to cover that, and really it's simple, right? It's not, you know, it's sort of simple and easy. I was going to say simple and not easy, as the expression goes. Here it is, and I try to make this as simple as possible. It's kind of tiered here. So up on the left, you got your money site. That's your business, right? You got the home page. We talked about that, but you also got sub pages, you know, interior pages. And in the middle there, we got Facebook. That's an authority site, right? YouTube, SlideShare.net, WordPress.com. Not the self-hosted. Some of you have WordPress running on your domain. This is WordPress.com. Which is also free and paid, but you can do a lot with the free version. You got press releases, of course, you know, MarketWire, PR Newswire, you know, PR Web, all of these guys, and you got authority niche blogs, which, you know, you can actually get to via Pitchbox and also via your network and partners and so forth. And then at the third tier there, articles, directory, comments. This is sort of the gray to black hat in the old days, where you just, you know, spending way too much time trying to optimize articles and sending them everywhere and signing up for directories and comment spamming and things like that. That's not recommended anymore. But here's the thing. If you think of this as a sandwich, right, where you're stacking, you know, the first piece of bread, you know, kind of at the bottom, then you butter it up real good, right, and then you're adding your, you know, what is it, some turkey there, and hey, let's get some salami on that thing. And as you start to stack this, it's just getting more and more juicy, that sandwich, right? You just really want to dig in. Same thing here. This is sort of building up the, well, I talk about the authority, but the trust signals and really that juice, you know, the juice as in the authority and trust indicators for Google. Google internally is still using the concept of PageRank, right? But PageRank is not updated publicly anymore. And back in the day, you remember the Google PageRank toolbar, etc., right? Well, it still is true, though, that you want to use the authority domains to pass that trusted indicator across to the next. And so here, if you're trying to rank your money site for a specific keyword, getting those authority blogs positioned, yes, you must do that. Getting the press releases, yes, you may decide that WordPress.com is not for you. SlideShare should definitely be in there. So is YouTube, so is Facebook. And you might say, well, how come LinkedIn is not here? How come Twitter is not on here? Well, I ran out of space, I guess. I didn't want to slam too much in here. But this is where you also need to do some research. For your competitors, for your market, you might find Pinterest and a lot of media sites show up, right? That's fine. You can use those. You don't have to use the other ones. But it is true that in any consulting that we do, we recommend to have all the top ones in place, and that includes Twitter as well. So yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have added that here, but that's okay. On the left-hand side, down at the bottom, you see bulkdachecker.com. That's a quick tool for you to pass in a domain or domains, plural, that you can check what kind of domain authority does it have, right? So this is, you can think of this as kind of your new PageRank PR checker, and also included the duplicate page finder down there, because you want to make sure that you're not now putting content on your sub pages or on your blog on your money site, and then you're putting the same content out on articles or WordPress.com or hub pages or things like that, and creating duplicate content. Make sure that you actually check for that kind of stuff, right? So the domain stacking is really just a very simple way for you to use authority and borrow that trust and pass it to you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Notice down here under WordPress.com says press releases, right? And if you remember in my 30-day scan, I used press releases also as the strategy. Well, this is still very powerful, but not in the sense from the old world, right? Where people use press releases for optimizing their anchor text and exact matches, etc. That's not where you need to go anymore. But you can use that as an overall authority builder, and then use the lower tier article directories, comments, other things to push press releases up to the first page of Google. So it sits on a authority domain, and you can actually have these press releases show up in your first page results, and they can be showed up for your brand, yes, much easier, but also for keywords. So if you are fairly new to this and you want to rank your site, yeah, you want that left side money side up, but you might decide that a intermediate strategy with press releases is where I'm going to go, including some of the video strategies to really make those visible for some of the keywords and my brand names on the first page. Well, then you can definitely do that, and it's going to be so much easier for you to do that as you then start to push all of the juice across to your money site, and that could be, again, be a sub page or an interior page. This works extremely well. It is a logical structure. It's also one that Google finds not black hat or gray. It's a white hat strategy, meaning it is totally on the up and up. On the left side down at the right, or right side on the bottom there, you want to tread carefully here. You do not want to take any of those and pass it straight to your money site. Notice how there's a buffer in between there, those authority sites. That's exactly what it is, right? Now, we test a lot of this stuff, and we go out on some very aggressive sites to see what's happening. It actually all works pretty darn good, I would say. Where it fails is over time. You might find that I'm gonna crank this up, I'm gonna rank it, and then 3 months later it's just off the planet, meaning off the first page, right? So build out your money site on the left side there. Build that out with strong content. Get a schedule in place. A calendar can be great to just keep yourself to it, and then use the authority indicators here, as well as some of the lower tiers, and check the domain authority. This just works so well. And as you know, you saw my case study. One of those authority domains happened to be Huffington Post. And how did I get Huffington Post, you say? Well, I did a whole lot of research is what I did, and I spent actually months back and forth on this and how well I should position myself and how to get emotionally connected with them and their team. And then I was actually able to send an email straight to Ariana herself, and it was rather fantastic that she responded. But the emotional connection that I made there was not, hey, I'm a cool guy, and I'm from Norway, and I write, and I think I'd be good for your, publishing empire. Did not write that. If you want to ping me, I'll tell you what I actually wrote. But it was personal, and it was a psychological trigger point. Now, you don't have to get that inventive using, BuzzStream or Pitchbox. They have templates that allows this all to happen seamlessly for you. And man, it's all good. It's all good. So, but we're coming up on a close here. I have, I want to keep within the hour, so I only have about 5-6 minutes left. But if you can, let me know about any questions. Let me just tell you that the next time we're going to talk about how to optimize WordPress. That was actually a number of requests for that. How do you set up WordPress and optimize for Google? And if you'd like, you can also submit a relevant text here. This is SEO Links webinar. This really is for those of you who say, listen, this is all good. I'm never going to have time to do all this. Can you help me, right? Done for your services. That's what we do, right? I mean, hey, look at this. Here comes the pitch. We can help you. But we also have comprehensive training and coaching for those of you who, frankly, we have a staff. We just need direction. We just signed up another client last week. They have a large staff, actually. They just need direction. They think they have the strategies right. They think they have some tactical things in place, but man, it's just not coming together, right? Well, a perfect fit for us to jump on, monthly call or every 2 weeks to cover all of that. And ultimately here, this is about you and your goals. Where are you today, and where do you want to go, right? If you want to take this up with me and with us here, just send a link or request rather to support@chaosmap.com. There you see in green, and we'll send you over a form. It's simple, easy, it's fun. and we'll share with you kind of the process for that. So that's all good. So let's see here. We're okay. Jen, no worries. She probably already left, but we want to thank you for your time as well, Jen. But let's see if we have any questions. Let's open this bad boy up here. Well, first, before I take any questions here, can you give me a 5 if this was instructive? I want to see a lot of 5s here. That means I've done a good job, hopefully. Yeah, I'd like to see 5, 5, 5. Hey, man, high 5 to you too. High 10, 5s. Fivers. Yeah. Wow, brilliant. Man, talk about creating an exciting audience here and delivering, wow. It touches me. I have to be honest with you. I've been doing this for a while, but it just kind of amazes me, your passion as well, and it's a tough world out there, man. But we're rocking the house here today in this hour. So yeah, appreciate it very much, guys and gals. Yeah, and if you have any questions, I know there was a lot here today. There's a lot of strategies as well as some tactical details here. But if there's one thing that I would do if I was you here now, knowing a little bit more about this, it's reaching out to high authority providers, right? Forget all the low end stuff. Just bypass it, man. Even if it takes a little longer time, just bypass that, and then create, 2 to 3 really thoughtful killer content pieces. Yeah, start with 1, right? But 2 to 3, because you can spread that out over a 30, 45 day kind of period, and you can really leverage that. You can take that to the next level, right? And if it's sort of the notion of an evergreen piece, right? An evergreen content piece that stays on for months and years, you can really leverage that. So that's what I would do. And hey, here's a question. Hey, Jeff, where to begin if you are a beginner in business? Okay, well, a beginner in business, I would just take a Business 101 course then. If you're looking for SEO, then this is the perfect place. If you're looking to build links and PR and outreach, perfect place again. But if you're looking for a business course, well, there's clearly many places online, and there's the I forget the Udemy. There's many sort of academies online that are for free courses. I know lynda.com has a lot of great courses, lynda.com. But a beginner in business in sort of the entrepreneurial sense, really a lot of opportunities. So, okay, so Jeff is, thank you, Jeff, clarifying. Yeah, search engine marketing, search engine position. Yeah, so if you're a beginner in this business context, and if you want to learn it, then there's two sort of qualifying questions. One is, do I want to learn this because I'm going to build my own business and kind of perhaps it's an affiliate business or I'm selling products and things myself, or am I learning this because I want to actually create an agency similar to what I have here, and I actually want to service clients? Still, it all comes back to kind of that notion of I need to be able to rank, I need to be able to convert, I need to be able to grow my business. I really would pick up some books on Amazon.com, Kindle readers. You can read them online, actually. Search for some of the keywords. Obviously, I could pitch my book pretty hard here, which I'm not going to, but I did mention it, so that gives you a hint there. That shares a lot, but there's many books on the topic. Amazon is awesome. I like to actually, if I'm unfamiliar with a topic, all right, there you go, Jeff, thank you. If I'm unfamiliar with a topic and I want sort of that sort of, what is it, the matrix where they just plug you in and now all of a sudden you're able to fly in helicopter, right? Then I'll go to YouTube. I'll go to my RSS feeds and I'll type in keywords and I'll get a whole bunch of blogs in within minutes. I'll go to YouTube, search for those keywords, and I'll scan those. And then also I'll buy some courses and I'll have my admin go through the courses and just kind of scribe it for me. What are the 10 most important things that I need to know? and that'll be helpful. But I realize this is a sort of a information acquisition process, so that you can get smart about a topic. That's not enough. It has to be applied. It has to be used. It's the concept of the 10,000 hours to become an expert, right? But you're absolutely right. You need to start at one place. Those are some of the places where I start. And frankly, just that good old, hey, I stepped into cold water and I didn't care. I just jumped in with arms and legs and went for it. That still works. So so I would definitely, back to my slide at the top, don't get stuck in that sort of analysis paralysis and negative and depression mode over there on the left. If you recall, crank it up, man. Just really get excited. As I said, we're not dealing with baby stuff here. This is all powerhouse, full speed ahead, the hustle, fun, lucrative, and exciting work. So I just want to leave you with that, and hopefully that'll get you going. So let me see here. We're coming up on just a minute over the hour. Let me see if I can scan through here. And we are getting some nice comments. Thank you so much. Yes, there is a checklist for that USP. I'll make sure if you actually just send a note to that support at Chaos Map, we'll make sure that you get that checklist. There was some other questions. You can fire that off there. And all right, let's see if there's no further questions. Thank you to Stansby. That sounds Swedish as well, or Scandinavian, which is great, man. Love it. It's hey, I'm not again. It's Norway. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. This has been just a pleasure again, and we'll see you next Friday. And please spread the word. We're going to be covering WordPress and optimization, and we're going to have some cool tools as well to share. But certainly strategies that'll help you build that up. So, all right. Well, thank you again, and I'll just leave this slide open here, and I'm closing out, and in a couple of more minutes, I'll exit the entire webinar where you can get to fill out that survey form for me. I really appreciate it, and have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers.